Hi, everyone. Today is Thursday, November 2nd of 2023, and we're here for the weekly crypto review with, of course, Moo. How's it going?
Going great, man. I'm really enjoying this market. What a heck of a last 30 days we've had, huh? I mean, Bitcoin's up 27%, Solana's up 80%. Where else are we at? Chainlink's up 50%. Avalanche is up 25%. Near really took off the last couple of days. I'm not a big fan of Near, but typically it's one of the later L1s to run. That's up 36%. Injective Protocol is up almost 100% in the last 30 days. Gala's up quite a bit.
Yeah, I saw that. That was exciting. Yeah. Exciting for me that Gala's up. Well, we knew that anyways. It's just a sleeping giant. It's all of this stuff. It's just a matter of time. I mean, what you're holding. That's why we say, like, just don't try to guess it. And I get nervous when people start dancing around with their cryptos and wanting to, flip out of this 100%. And, hey, listen, nothing wrong with spreading your bets,
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just been an amazing time in crypto. Really, really great. But yeah, why don't we go ahead? Like I said, it's been a wonderful week. Why don't we go ahead and just jump into the questions? I think we have quite a few for this week. Okay. So I think people are getting excited about cryptos again. So that's good. Let's go ahead and take a look. There's one here that I can probably go ahead and answer while Sam is away. It says, "Hi Moo, Ledger is offering to swap Matic to Pol. Is this something we have to do eventually? Question mark. Do you recommend waiting? Question mark. It seems Pol is replacing Matic in the near future. Thank you." So you're going to have about 4 years to do this. So there's nothing necessarily inherently super important or time sensitive wise where you have to do it immediately. The contract is out there and the swap contract is out there. So the token and the swap contracts are both out there. But once again, you're going to have to be very careful and not click on some scammy link, right? You should be going for all your Polygon questions, thoughts, things like this around, whether it's staking or going over to the new token Pol. You should be getting your information right from Polygon or the Polygon devs. So let's just go ahead and read through this. What it says here: the Pol upgrade was initiated today in Ethereum. You can find the Pol contract at pol-token.eth. The migrator contract is also live on Ethereum at migrator.pol. -token.eth. And you guys are probably wondering, okay, well, it's a little above my pay grade maybe. Don't worry about it. Like I said, there's nothing that you have to do immediately. Another great place you can check is over at Ledger support, because I just want to go through this because you mentioned Ledger. So the API, the contract is out there, and software can connect to it and run it for you. But once again, you're going to have to be very careful. And like I said, you're going to have years to do this. So there's nothing necessarily time sensitive about this. But on the Ledger support page, and that's another place you guys should be checking, says Polygon Matic token on Ethereum network has migrated to a new token named Pol, and it gives the token address. Users who have their Matic on their Ledger Ethereum accounts will need to swap for the new Pol tokens manually. You can do this via Paraswap, which is live in Ledger. And then also, this is kind of an important part. Keep in mind that swapping your Matic for Pol is currently optional. If you're staking Matic from an Ethereum account, you have the option to unstake your Matic and swap for Pol, or keep your Matic staked and generate rewards for the moment. And there's much more here. And then it's got a support page here. So, anything around this token swap, I think you guys should go get familiar with it, and don't just be clicking on scammy links. Get them right from Ledger, right from the Polygon devs, or right from Polygon themselves. So, but let's go ahead and get into these other ones. Hi, Sam. Avalanche has been quietly building in this bear market. Are they a long-term survivor? Do you see them having a massive run in the 7 trillion crypto run? Question mark. Thank you.
Oh yeah, the Avalanche is on actually one of the pieces of artwork that Ling created is it's called A Horse Called Avalanche, and there's I supposedly my son was laughing. He goes, "Is that supposed to be you, Bob? You look like a Barbie doll." I was like, "Well," I said, "It's just a cartoon thing." I said, "It's not really about the horse named Avalanche, and that it's going to be galloping." So it was one of my. I mean, I don't like to call Avalanche a flyer, but a lot of times you're looking at, okay, Ethereum. If you didn't get it when it was $80 or 120 or even 400, and you're looking at your $5,000 or $10,000 that you have to put into the crypto market, and you're thinking, okay, well, I mean, I could buy a couple of ETH, and but people tend to want to look for life-changing money, and that usually means that you have to wait a little bit longer, and you have to find a project that has a future, but it's behind, the other one. So Solana was my favorite, for this run. As you guys all know, I've been very thankful that I was able to accumulate Solana because I missed it on the first run. I didn't see it at all, really. I mean, I wasn't against it or anything like that. I just knew that I couldn't hold them all. But I felt like Solana would be a big one for this run. But in future runs, I do see Avalanche sort of doing the same sort of deal as Solana, where it's sort of the newer one. With Avalanche, there's not as much to do, I understand, at this time. But you know what? Arbitrum was like that as well. When Arbitrum first came out, there was a whole lot when it was new to do that. Not that I'm comparing the two technologies. I'm just speaking about adoption and price. So, which I think a lot of people are interested in when they tune into the weekly crypto review. That's what they're looking for is, what's going on with the different technologies and what do we think about price? Is this undervalued? Is this overvalued? Is this going in the toilet? But I did always feel like Avalanche has a great future and enough to have some artwork created with a horse called Avalanche.
Love it. Thanks, Sam. This next one. Hi, Sam. Do you think Doge will see $1 before the end of 2023, or am I too optimistic? From Spirit Timothy.
Oh, I definitely think that we could see the run to $1. I think that a lot of the things, like I think that Doge ran to its all-time high in the earlier half of 2021. Because remember, there was basically two tops. There was one in April, May, I think, that in 2021 that went to like maybe 2.3 trillion. And then there was a big pullback, and then it went to 3 trillion in November of 2021, something like that. And so I expected a similar situation where the market would start to go up in October of 2023, and that it would continue to go up until June of 2024, very much mirroring what happened in 2020, right? So that's what I was preparing for, because I'm trying to figure out, I mean, I'm getting a lot of information, I'm getting a lot of pictures, and it's like puzzle pieces that I'm trying to put together. And so I'm listening to the blab, I'm looking at the current stuff that I'm getting, and I'm sticking to the story of, we're going to have a very similar sort of repeat situation, except when it comes to something like Doge, for example, I do feel like it could be possible, very possible, that it would hit at least $1 before the end of the year or in the early part of the year. Because I thought it was going to happen sooner than that a few months ago, actually. But again, it's not unusual for me to be off a couple of months on a timeline. And I do feel like it's going to be closer together, the things that are happening, so the amount of time, for example, that it took Solana to get to $200, it's going to be like that. Like it could be $200 like by the end of November, for example, Solana.
Yeah, I've been monitoring some accounts too. It looks like FTX is, I think that they had that John J. Ray guy, the guy that was in charge of the receivership for Enron. He's over at FTX. I think they're getting bids to restart that exchange, but I did see that FTX was moving quite a bit of items off to other exchanges to be sold. But he believes it's a viable company. A lot of people really like Solana. I like Solana. There's Breakpoint. So they have a conference every year. It's called Breakpoint. And today's the third day. So if anybody's interested in going and watching, you can get up on YouTube and check out day 3. The first 2 days have been absolutely just awesome with some of the stuff that's going on. And I'd like to show maybe some things later. But I just wanted to pull up this total market cap because you mentioned kind of this double top here in May. we were at 2.5 trillion. Then we kind of came down, and then in September started to hit the high, a little bit less of a high on about the 13th of September, and then November, almost a whole year. 2 years now. We got up to the 3 trillion about the 12th of November of 2021. So I kind of just wanted to show that real quick. Let me go ahead and switch back over to the questions. Hi, Sam. As an OG Sam Jammer, I remember back in the early days around 2018, you spoke about some pretty high number multiples for the QLabs coming with the everything all at once. Now it appears we are getting closer to that time. Do you see some of the high multiples coming as you saw back then?
Yes. But one of the things that the people on the other side always do, I guess, to get people to check their wealth is they do let me know that I can miss a zero. So for example, I saw that Cardano could be like $300 and the high that it went up to was like $3. Well, do I still think that Cardano could be $300? Well, I mean, it's always a possibility, but now looking and examining the blab, I would probably sell off probably half of my Cardano because at $3, I am more than 30 times my price. I didn't do my dollar cost average on Cardano yet completely, but I know that I got a big swath of it, I believe at 4 cents, 7 cents. And then there was a pullback to like 10 cents at one time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get my last 30,000 Cardano at 10 cents. So my question would be, why would somebody, like, knowing that I can be off by a zero, I think that anyone who would hold their Cardano that they bought in let's say you dollar cost averaged at 10 cents, right? I think it's crazy to hold it all the way to what you think would be $300 and not take any profits at all. So I would say overall from this whole debacle the last couple of years, as far as how many people held and they got caught with greedy. That's what everyone's writing me. Yeah, greedy caught me. And I just said, yeah, isn't that crazy? That was what we said in the very beginning. Greedy get you caught, greedy get you caught, take profits. And, and it was killing me to take profits on Doge at 40 cents, like totally knowing it's going to $1 someday and not needing that money. But you have to set an example, right? And then cashing in some in at 60 cents and then having it go all the way back to 6 cents and then being able to hold that as an example and say, see, you cash it in, you take some profits when it's high so that you don't feel like such a dummy when it pulls back, it's to 6 cents. Yeah, and also don't say ridiculous things like, oh, I should have cashed it all in. Come on. That's a ridiculous statement. Don't beat yourself up with that, right? But, at least make that commitment to yourself that, you're not going to hold, for example, I'm just using Cardano as an example, to $300 because at $3 you are 30 times your money. So you should be cashing in and taking profits so that even if, it ends up being, one of the least favored cryptos down the road, let's say, for example, people like all love Solana now, or maybe Avalanche is, the new girl in town, right? That all the boys are interested in. Who knows? But the reality, I think, that lesson that most of us have learned is, greedy gets you caught, and please don't hold those cryptos to those high numbers that I expected. And it's not because I don't expect them to go there. It's just because I know that the market does not go straight up. And there is also the possibility of me, missing a zero on something. So I think the reality is just don't let greedy get you caught when you are 30 times the crypto, right? Make sure that you've taken profits on it at that time, like more than enough, more than what you put in, make sure. And listen, there is nothing wrong with keeping, maybe 10% of your Cardano, just in case it does see $300. But I mean, that could be like 5 or 6 or 10 years from now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just selling into strength and just selling a little bit as things get overheated and heat up more and more. That's what I do. Everybody should figure that out for themselves and decide what works best for them. I try and sell into strength and I try and buy weakness is what I try to do. 2021 treated me very well. I felt like I learned a lot of lessons in 2017, 2018. So what else can I say about that? I always do keep a little piece though. Back. And I'm never an all-in or an all-out person. That's not how I buy cryptos, and that's not how I sell them. I buy them slowly and I sell them faster than but you know what I mean. I don't go all in or all out, but I always keep some back, just because you never know. Because a lot of times, your biggest gains will be just in that last portion of the run. So. Hopefully people are thinking about their strategies and what will work for them, and make sure all their banks are hooked up correctly and things like this, and you know where your stuff is, and you know how to operate it, or you know how to recover it. Because the last thing you'd want to do is not know how to do those things, and then you get a big run up and want to sell a little bit or something, and you can't find where the stuff is, or you don't know how to recover it, or you have a broken whatever. So just keep that in mind. That would be my advice. What else we got here? Hi, Sam. You mentioned this next bull run will feature most of the Q Labs and tried and tested coins and tokens, while most of the gaming tokens would take a back seat. What does this mean? Does this mean we will still have time to accumulate at cheaper prices before their time to head to the moon? You mentioned a few times tokens like Star Atlas and Tower would run close to each other mid to late 2024, while Superverse would be something in that range too.
Yeah. So as far as timing goes, it would be the older cryptos, the ones that are going into the exchange traded fund. So something like Gala, one of our favorites, would not necessarily end up in an exchange traded fund right away, unless they make one for gaming. But believe me, they'll make one for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a different mix of cryptos before they have like a gaming one, right? And a gaming one isn't necessarily where the big investors would immediately run to. That would be more of a boutique type of exchange traded fund that they would have in their store of options in the fiat market, investment market, where they're going to put together those ETFs. So I felt like the big money driver for the running cryptos was going to be, running after Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Solana was my favorite as far as the future multiple went, for one that I didn't own at all. And even Avalanche, Near, Phantom, those ones would be Stellar. Those would be like the ones that would run, well, I guess bigly in the very first part. Could you accumulate the ones that are going to run like a few months after that? And I'm not saying that they're not. I mean, Gala's had, a nice multiple as well. But as far as its all-time high, it's still not anywhere close to that. So,
that's correct. But people don't have to buy that token either. They can get out and they can play weekly. They have sweepstakes, and they, like, for example, Poker Go. It's something we're going to be doing more over at the Psychic Nerds, having a poker night probably once a week. And they have you acquire tickets, and you turn those tickets in, and you're put into a drawing and you win Gala. So there's ways to get cryptos without actually paying for them with money. It might cost you a little bit of your time, but if you're just hanging out with your friends playing a game anyway, what's the harm in that? So
yeah, exactly. That's a great idea. So I guess someone is inquiring about that because maybe they're thinking about, okay, I'll sell off some of my Solana on its way up to a few $100s. Do I have time, like, to get some more Star Atlas, some more Gala? And I'm going to say yes to that. And I mean, I don't like doing the trading. My thing is I buy and I hold, and then I sell off as the crypto increases. Like, I have my price range. And I certainly was not interested in getting out of this market to any huge extent until we were past, the 3 trillion point, right? That's my strategy. But again, you have to be able to change it. I tell folks that, as I get closer to the shore, I get a clearer picture about something, and I'm like, oh, that's not a cat, that's a cougar, right? I'm going to start swimming to the right of the beach away from that cougar, right? I thought I was safe swimming towards those rocks with that, oh, they have kitty cats. Oh, those are cougars. Oh, and a few mountain lions too. So that's sort of, I think that's the best way for me to describe my knowings, is that, it's not because I'm female that I reserve the right to change my mind.
Sure.
It's because it's the way that it works. I'm not seeing with my eyes,
Right.
but as I get closer to the actual event and situation, then it becomes, much clearer to me what the blab and what I'm saying. So yeah, I say if you stick with that, you stick with the strength, the big movers will happen. And then if you want to take a portion, I'm not going to do that because I already have Gala, I already have Star Atlas. But again, people come in different circumstances. Some people are younger folks and they might have had 10 or 15,000 to put into cryptos. Other people are older folks and they had hundreds of thousands to put into crypto. So again, they can spread their bets and not feel like they have to play the trading game. But I understand other people, they want to play the trading game. And that's the way that, because they want to, this is the largest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. And it's happening during our lifetime. And we're in it. We're one of the few people who actually know how to build a wallet and send cryptos to it. Most people don't have any clue how to do that,
I really like gaming. Why do I like the gaming sector so much? I like the gaming sector because they're actual companies that generate revenue. So that's really important for sustainability and longevity of a company. They have to generate revenue. So, it could be a company that has multiple games and they're selling NFTs to these games. It could be, maybe one studio or something, or one game publisher that is kind of doing the same. They're selling items. So they're generating revenue. So I think a lot of times, maybe people, if you're curious about gaming, one, go out and play the games. If you enjoy them, I bet other people will too. And then maybe at a second glance, go up and actually check out their revenues and see what kind of revenues they're doing. Gaming is already taking off. I could name several, but I won't. But I think people are going to be a little surprised, in my opinion. I think the gaming has come so far ahead in the last just 2 years that maybe some of those that people were interested in or whatever, they look kind of what's the word? They don't look up to date. They look like old games, because remember, kind of in 2021, a lot of these games were kind of just getting started. So, and some of them have never broken out of that. But there are really good blockchain games out there if people want to actually go play good games. So maybe the ones that people think are going to run this time aren't, because it's pretty easy to see how many users are playing the games or how many people are interacting or talking about the games. But I'll kind of leave that there. This next one's also about gaming, I think. Soul Man says, today, Thursday, November 2nd, Star Atlas did a presentation and I almost had tears in my eyes. How do we handle selling these types of projects that can 300x to 10,000x easy with volatility?
I just set my sell prices. I don't trade back and forth. That's the thing about me, right? With, really my job here in the crypto realm was to make sure that everybody knew, number one, that blockchain was going to survive. And then also, keep people from, jumping off cliffs on these.
I think people should be careful with these X's too, these multiples. Yeah. If you go look at the supply of Star Atlas, that would be, unless there was lots of people playing, most of it, so I don't know how it could do these numbers that are in here, but mathematically, I don't think that's possible. But the game is wonderful. Maybe this is the one you saw today. And there's a new third person, basically work in progress. This is going to be, they showed this is at Star Atlas 2.2. But these are just amazing. And people are going to be able to get out there and play this very, very soon. Different iterations of this. Maybe this is the one I wanted to show. But anyway, let me try and blow this up and see if we can just take a look. Just absolutely amazing stuff.
Yeah, it is very lifelike.
Yeah.
And this type of technology is helping people with, for example, their war games. They're training there, as well as you can even buy apps now that will help you learn to fly a helicopter
Yeah.
or a fighter jet.
Yeah.
So, and it's all this technology. And, that's why I just buy and I hold it. That's one of the things that I do, just because I don't want to get into, I call it the spirit of trading. Some people, that's what they like. That's what they do. And I listen, I have nothing against that. It's just, that's not for me, especially if you have abilities like I do. You could open up a whole can of worms if you start doing that. So I was like, I don't want to go there. I do see a great future for like Star Atlas and for Gala. So even when everyone was saying, just like when people were saying that crypto was dead, I just kind of smirk a bit. I'm just like, okay, I know better than you because I can see the future. And my whole life has been like that. When I tell people about stuff and they're like, oh, no way, that's never, ever going to happen. I go, all right, then, well, let's just wait and see. And then it happens. And, so, I mean, I'll tell you, I wasn't overly shocked when I nailed Hurricane Ian. I hadn't done anything like that before in public, but I had done quite a few things like that, like just for me privately with the little game I play in my mind when I'm training myself. I normally would never do that out in public, but you guys make me feel comfortable enough to just sort of lay it all out there and take those chances. So I can't wait to see, us hit the 3 trillion again. Because I mean, that was a promise from the people on the other side. Everybody was all boo and watched their portfolio go to millions of dollars and then back to hundreds of thousands. And that was a bummer. And when you hear again, oh, it's going to be 3 trillion again, hang in there. And then we're going to 8 and then we're going to 100. And now you see all of this stuff. Look at that amazing Star Atlas. I mean, that wasn't like that when we were first interested in Star Atlas. It was not like that. And it just has kept going.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, and so many games are kind of like that. They've made such progress in the last 2 years. It's amazing. And some are just going to be left in the dust. Some of the ones that people were talking about in 2020 or 2021, they still look like, you know what I mean? Like they're from the 1980s. But anyway, there's lots of good games out there. So let's go ahead and just take a look here. This one says, hi guys, when should we see a big run for Fantasma Sol? This bull run or next?
Oh, let's see. Well, I think that Fantasma or Sol will run just on the pure volume alone of what's going on there. I see that it's up 13%, but that's easy when your 24-hour volume is only 197,000.
Yeah.
And it's on 32,000 watch lists. So, I mean, it's not like the crazy watch lists like we see for some cryptos on there where they have like a few 100,000. But I would say for Fantasma, this run, it's not going to be a delayed run. It will go back to its all-time high again. And this time I'll remember to take profits.
And I don't think I have any of this anymore. But we could take a look at a few things. Maybe we should, let me just resort this and see what's running this morning before we get on back to the questions.
Sure.
I saw, yep. So we got Palantir, and then obviously we have, it says Star Atlas is up almost 24%. Senate, this is the DAO token for a game called Sidious. That's up 21%. You guys don't care about that one. These are crypto miners. Obviously, when the market runs, the miners do multiples of what Bitcoin does. What else we got here? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe we should just take a look at Bitcoin and ETH real quick. So we did break through this 35. I think we got up to 35.5, right? 35.9. Almost got into 36, or maybe we did hit 36. I didn't see that. But anyway, we're at 34.7 now. And then where are we at on Ethereum? We're at about $1,800 on Ethereum. So let's go back to the questions. Okay. Scott with 1T is asking, when and how far back will Solana retrace to? So maybe we should take a look at Solana. When and how far back will Solana retrace to? What are your thoughts, Sam?
When and how far back will Solana retrace? Listen, man, if you're looking for an $8, $12, or $20 price for Solana ever again,
those days are done.
Yeah, those days are gone. And I just have to tell people. I told someone last night. I was like, you know what? Don't FOMO in. You have to understand. Like, you have to do what I did. Just forget about it, man. And then if it comes back again and you have an opportunity, get it. But I see this all the time. Every single run, it's like, I talk about, for example, the XRP bull flag, right? And that the court decision is going to come out in favor of XRP, right? And then it's going to run. And I am not lost on the fact that it went up a lot yesterday and Tinkerbell paid her credit card.
That's good.
She sent me the thing, right? And then it went up. I was like, okay, that's getting pretty crazy. But what happened though, is that when that happened and XRP began to do its run, I'm sure there were some people in our group who even played like 60 or 70 cents for XRP at that point. And my point to everybody here is, don't you listen to me, right? Aren't you listening to me? Right? Don't FOMO into it. Like, get it now. Get it when it's, what's the word we use? Unloved. When it's unloved.
Yeah, when nobody's talking about it, when you know it's a good project, when you've done your own research, when when you're not overextending yourself, right? When you have investable monies, that's the time to do it. Just on a pure technical thing here, could we get back down to like a 28? Yeah, we could. On the pure technical, we could, maybe $30. But Solana is just, it's when it goes, it goes. It's off to the races. So are we there now? I don't know. But let's just go ahead and take a look. I mean, people were scooping it up yesterday at almost $47. Well, today it's 41. So, this was not the time to probably buy it at 47. So, you just kind of have to pick. And this is why all in or all out it never makes any sense because, if you would have put it all in here, you'd be in a different position if you would have just put, I don't know, a third in here, and then maybe you put a third in here, and then maybe in a couple of days you'll put another third in, something like that. I don't know, but try and resist the FOMO.
The FOMO is the most dangerous, where it goes from like 41 to 47 and then back to 41, and there you paid $47 for it. And my question to anybody there would be, number one, why didn't you buy it earlier? Because you guys have seen this before. You've seen me start to blab about something up and come before the market runs. I even warned people, right? Like last October when I had that reading with I think it was Susan OG. And I was like, I know I'm going against rules here, but go get that other 20,000 and put it in right now, all of it, right?
We made it very clear that $8, $10, $12, $14, $18, those were good entries, like really good entries for Solana.
Yeah.
Especially for people that missed out on it before. And that's kind of those are the words we used. If you missed out on it before, these are pretty phenomenal, entries.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I say look elsewhere. Like the big push for Solana, I'm not going to say it's over with. There's a pretty good chance it could go to a couple $100, but there is, because it moves so quickly, there is a chance that it could pull back to $30. So really the time to accumulate it was back when it was between $8 and $30. And then now if you're looking for places to put your money, I would look at the ones that haven't moved yet. That's the thing, right? Is that it makes the rounds. And what if you went into Solana at 41 and then it sits there for another month while people are jamming money into Avalanche and a few other projects, and then it goes back to Solana? That's the problem with FOMO, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. It kind of takes us out of our discerning kind of mind. It does a lot of things.